Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Savings Minus Debt. What's up, NC Biggs? Kiera, first one's in here. Appreciate you guys showing up early. I'm gonna wait 3 minutes like I always do. Since I started early, I probably waited a little longer. I started about 30 seconds or something like that first. But anyway, we'll go 3 minutes. 3 minutes before I get started. So we got about 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Give everybody a chance to get up in here. Welcome. I'm getting a haircut tomorrow, so I'll probably be on camera tomorrow or by the weekend, one or the other. My girlfriend got me to grow my hair out, and so I'm going to go ahead and go to a barbershop, which I haven't been in years, go get it styled, and then I'll be on camera with my new look. LJ with hair. But it'll be nice, though. It's going to be I'm accepting my more older, distinguished look. Let's put it that way. All right. So, a lot of people thought I was bald, but I'm not bald. I just shaved my head because I'm just gray. I got a full head of hair, just all gray. That's all. Premature gray. What's up, Art Carp? Welcome. Get on in here. Got about 1 minute, 30 seconds left before we get started. Thank you guys for following. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming to be part of the SMD family, Savings Minus Debt family. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Appreciate you. We'll get started in 1 minute. As people, calmly walking through the door, we'll get started. Now, I haven't done a review in a long time, so every now and then I do these. What's up, Mike? Let's go. He says, I'm here. Let's start. Got about 30 more seconds, Mike, and then we're going to get started. What's up, Tony Davis? FVJ. What's up, Fred? Long time no see. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you. When they get up in age, my grandfather was 90, so you start to, it's weird. You just start to, things are coming. Even he said it, he used to always say, I ain't got much time left, and then, that's how it goes. But anyway, Ill Wills, what's going on? What's good? Okay, now we're going to get started here. For those of you that are new to my channel, my name is LJ Young, and I am a 100% debt-free motivational speaker and personal finance educator. I help people become financially free by helping them financially see outside what I call the debt matrix. Now, the debt matrix is a place where everybody believes in credit and debt and financing everything that goes down in value. That's where I lived for the first 40 years of my life until I woke up one day and trusted mathematics. Once I trusted mathematics, I got out of debt. All right. And now I've been more free than I ever have been in my life. Well, anyway, now I live on the north side of zero. North means above zero, in the green. I mean, in the black, you're making money. And then anything south of zero means you're in the negative. -1, -2, -3 to infinity, negative. Okay. They both go infinity either way. But when you're in debt, you just choose south of zero. Okay. I didn't know that. I didn't know that when I was in debt. I just thought that was part of life. But anyway, now I see things I see the economy for what it is, right? There's two ways to look at the economy now. Now it's when you're in debt and when you're not in debt. It's two different economies, I promise you. But anyway, today it's like, now this article, by the way, NC Big sent this to me in email. All right. He sent this to me and said, hey, L, check this out. Tell me what you think. And as I'm reading it, I'm like, oh, that's not true. This is not true. Okay, I see why you're saying that, because now that I'm out of debt, I read everything differently now. Okay, it's not the same as what you see in the article. Now, in the article, I got to put I don't think I put the link to the article in here, but I will later, okay, in the details of this video. But anyway, it's like I see things totally different. And and today when I read stuff like that, it kind of upsets me because, I'm a smart, educated dude, but being not able to see something so simple to see just by trusting math, it's just the craziest thing. But what calms me is that there's millions of people that do it every day. Okay, you just do it, and I couldn't see that until I got out of debt, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to read, instead of just reading the article like you would. Once I put the link in there, you guys can pretty much read it for yourself. I'm going to read it for what it really says, what it really means. Okay, I'm going to read it from the real perspective, but you can't see this if you're in debt. All right. Now, and I mean that. If you don't trust mathematics, you'll never be able to see or understand what I'm saying. Never, right? If you believe debt is just part of life, if you've been in debt all your life and you believe debt is part of life, you'll never understand what I'm about to read to you in this article. It'll be very difficult for you to get it. That's the best way I can say it. Okay. All right. So let me get to the article here. Let's get started. Let's go share screen. Okay. So what I'm going to do, as soon as I get to it, what I'm going to do now, as I'm reading this, you guys can ask me questions if you wish. Let me open this up here okay, there we go. You guys can ask me questions as I'm reading, because if you don't understand what I'm saying, I wouldn't mind answering at that time, because sometimes I'll forget. All right, so here we go. We're gonna get started. We're gonna go right off the bat from the title. HEROES Act would cancel $10,000 in student loan debt for economically distressed borrowers. Now, number one, right off the bat, it's in very big words. So they really want you to see this. Okay. They really want, and this is designed for people whom are in debt. Okay. This is what it's designed for. Cancel $10,000 in student loan debt. Well, people in debt have no money, so $10,000 is going to get their attention right away. And then you tie that with student loan debt, which the majority of people in debt have. Of course, they got that. It's got their full attention to economically distressed borrowers. That's millions of people are out of work. There's a lot of, look how big of a percentage of people that article fits. Distressed borrowers, yeah, there's millions of them. Okay. All right, let's go down here further. And again, remember, I'm reading this in a way I wish somebody would have read it to me when I was in debt, and solidify everything using mathematics, because mathematics is an exact science, meaning it's never wrong. So if somebody would have read this article to me like this when I was in debt, I would have had no choice but to really understand it, right? All right, so it says, the House passed the Health and Economic Recovery Omnibus Emergency Solutions Act, HEROES. Okay, they put in a name that sounds wonderful, like it's going to come and help somebody. See, HEROES. All right, those are just names. Okay, these are things that are attractive to people who are in debt. Okay. All right, the $3 trillion stimulus package. Okay, $3 trillion. Now, you got to remember, people in debt, money doesn't exist for people in debt, right? And if you don't understand what I mean, I'm gonna just say this really quick. Add up your savings, add up your debt. Savings minus, including your house and your student loans. Savings minus debt equals how much money you have in real life. If that number's in the negative, money doesn't exist for you. Okay, that's how it works, right? So automatically, right off the bat, you think $1 million is a lot of money. People in debt, but they think $1 trillion is a lot of money. But you think about it like this. Say like Jeff Bezos. I heard he's worth $1 trillion. One person, one business is $1 trillion. Does it sound like $3 trillion is a lot of money at that? If you look at it from a different perspective, no, because it's not. Okay. It probably doesn't even exist. Like 3 trillion printed dollars probably don't even exist. Whoever, that's a different that's a different subject. Let's not get it. Which is expected to be ignored by the Republican-controlled Senate. So they're throwing out a promise with no promise. See what I'm saying? Now, people in debt, they're getting all hyped up because this could possibly help them get out of debt. So they believe, right? All right. All right. So it says at least in its current form would have considerable implications for student loan borrowers, whatever. Okay. The legislation would extend the CARES Act, which is going on now, that automatically suspend interest on federal student loans, as well as payment and involuntary collections for another year, meaning the federal student loan borrowers would not have to pay back the student loans until September 30th, 2021. Now, how many people in debt do you think are happy to read a line like that? Just that statement right there. How many people in debt do you think would love to hear that line? Would love for that to happen? Millions of people. Okay, of course they want that to pass. See how that works? It just, but when you look at it through the other side, you look at it through my eyes, right? I'm gonna just tell you my eyes. That means they're not going to even pay. They're not going to even touch that student loan, pay any of it at all. When there's no, check this out, when there's no interest being accrued, now is the best time to pay off the student loans. But if they push that through, they will not even look at this. Out of sight, out of mind. No interest is being accrued. No payments are due, and nobody can chase you for the money. Out of sight, out of mind. That's exactly what they want them to do. Don't think about it till next year, September 30th, 2021. Well, everything will start back up then. You think I would have saw that in a million years if I wasn't out of debt? I would have never saw that. And plus, you got to remember this too. If there's no jobs for people to pay for their mortgages, you think they're gonna have money for student loan payments? No. People in debt have no idea. Now is the time to pay off them student loans right now, this minute. But whatever. All right, let's move on with the article. And while other protections, now I'm gonna be reading it slow because I can't read it for what it is. I gotta read it for what they're really saying. Okay. And while other protections would extend borrowers holding commercially held FFEL program student loans, as well as Perkins loans, a key provision would forgive up to $10,000 in debt for economically distressed borrowers who hold private or federal loans, which is almost everybody. Millions of people are out of work, okay? The last thing they're thinking is paying on their student loans. I guarantee you it, okay? So you better believe they're looking for the $10,000, which means absolutely nothing, but they don't know that either. To be considered economically distressed borrower, a borrower with student loans as of March. Okay, listen to this, all right? Now listen what this, I'm gonna tell you what they're really saying. A borrower with student loans as of March 12, 2020 should meet the following criteria: paying $0 a month on federal loans through an income contingent payment plan or an income-based plan. So those people on those repayment that are already involved in those repayment plans, which are slave camps, but they don't know that either. Okay, so it's going to get these people to stop paying on their student loans, which they're going to qualify for because the government just said they can stop paying on them. So they're pretty much automatically qualifying for this. All right, let's just keep going. Or be in default on their private loans or federal loans for 270 days past due. So people that are not in default right now, they're going to go ahead and go into default right now so they can meet the criteria of being in default for 270 days. That's what they're going to do. All right. Or if because they're just going to think like, hey, if it's just past that, then this will come and this will help me out of that. And then I won't have to pay for next year. See, that's how they think. That's exactly what they want them to think. or if the private and or federal student loan was in serious delinquency or 90 days past due. That's a lot. And it's going to be millions more right now with no jobs. Again, millions of people out of work, no work to even pay their mortgage. You think they're going to pay a student loan debt, a student loan payment? No. Everybody qualifies for it, okay? Let's see. The bill also expands eligibility for public service loan forgiveness and also forgives loans held thousands of borrowers who attended and non-defunct nonprofit. What? The bill also expands eligibility for public service loan forgiveness. Oh, one of those forgiveness programs, which are just 99% of those people got denied last year, and people still go for them. It makes absolutely no sense. That's the worst part about this kind of stuff. When you're on the wrong side of the economy, they just do stuff to you right in your face, man. I swear they be kicking slaves while they're down. People don't even understand that. Let's see. What else is this article? It says a potentially devastated economy when they start making payments again. I don't know if this is the same article. Is that a different article? Oh, that's a different article, I think. Especially income borrowers color. The borrowers will face potentially devastated economy. Payments like prevent them from recovering. Okay, let me just read this. I'm not sure what they're saying here. A potentially devastated economy when they start making payments again. Well, it's a devastated economy right now. Why are you saying when they start making payments again? Let's see. Consumer advocates were frustrated that the cancellation didn't extend to all borrowers. Okay, that's their right, whatever. The lack of widespread forgiveness will leave many borrowers without long-term relief, especially low-income borrowers of color. I have no idea why you're throwing race in there. It's just green. The color's green. Okay, you're just trying to stir it up. Okay, and those who lost their jobs due to the pandemic. Okay, that's millions of people. All right. Attorney, NCS, Student Loan Borrower Assistance Project says this statement: the borrowers will face a potentially devastated economy when they start making payments again. I have no idea why they keep saying that. And their student loan payments will likely prevent them from recovering and contributing to rebuilding our economy, she argued, adding widespread debt cancellation is imperative. That will never happen. They will never release that many of their slaves. So stop saying debt cancellation. Stop saying that you're going to cancel student loan debt. That's got to stop too. Ashley Harrington, Federal Advocacy Director and Senior Counsel at the Center, blah, blah, blah. Bill, okay, they always put their names in there so you'll believe what they're saying. You know what I'm saying? Ashley, she's of this and she does that and she works there, so you'll be impressed by where she works, so you'll believe whatever she's about to say. Added that while Bill shows strong promise and addresses important needs of low wealth families impacted. Low wealth. Is that another word for poor? Families, low wealth. Okay, low wealth families it is. Okay, I've never used that in a statement before, but okay, all right. That's why you're working for this company. All right, I got it. Impact COVID-19. The bill curtails its original inclusive plan to cancel $10,000 worth of federal blah, blah, blah. That'll never happen. You're just saying that to keep people happy. Another expert stressed that the extra relief proposed in the bill should not be discontinued. The Senate should consider and pass the HEROES Act quickly as possible. Jessica Thompson, Associate Vice President at the Institute of I want you guys to pay attention to something. Pay close attention now. They always have to put the title of who they are, where they work. That is to impress you. If they use these titles of colleges and names, that means, hey, if they came from there, they must be smart. One has nothing to do with the other, okay? Never mix those two, all right? Said in the statement. Okay, first tell us who she is, and she's now make your statement. The bill provides critical support at a scale to match the vastness of the crisis and will help students, colleges, and those with student debt survive this crisis as well. No, it won't. No, it won't. The only person that can save you from all of this whole article is you. Only you. If you think $10,000 is a lot of money, you're in some serious trouble. I promise you. Just like looking back, and now let's go back to the beginning article. Okay, I mean the title of the article, why it's in big bold letters, dark print, and why it's in. Look at the words that are used in this title: heroes, $10,000, student loan debt, economically distressed borrowers, everything millions of people in debt are. You can't, again, if you're in debt, you can't see or hear what a word I'm saying. You can't see or hear a word I'm saying. None, zero. Now you look at this title, right? Now this is what I want you to pay attention to. They want you to see this, okay? Now, I want you to pay attention to a medicine commercial on TV. Okay. They're always talking fast with big words and small print and happy actors in the background. Why do you think that is? They want you to see something but not hear something. That's all. See how that works? So this is the opposite. They're putting these things in there that will get your attention. This only gets the attention of people whom are in debt. I don't care about any of that title, none of it. If they pass it, if the Democrats fight the Republicans in the House, Senate, and all this other stuff, who cares? People in debt. Let me change this out of here. Now, again, NC Biggs brought this to my attention. Thank you, sir, for bringing that up. That was awesome. I just had to think of a different way to deliver it to you guys. I want you to understand how it works when you're not in debt. This is how it works. This is what you'll see. This is the gift you'll have. If you're still like, I'm not here to convince anybody that math is an exact science. I'm not here to convince you. I'm not here to say, hey, to convince you that math is right. Everybody in the world knows math is an exact science. Everybody in the world knows this. If math didn't exist, we wouldn't even have the ability to count money. We would just see a stack of papers and what are we going to do with this? I don't know. What do you do with it? Why is it all green? I don't know. Whatever. Now, since math is an exact science and never wrong, and we couldn't count money without math, that means that logically means math and money are one. They cannot be separated. But you know what separates them? Feelings. Feelings are the only thing that separate math from money. 1 + 1 = 2. But if you feel like it equals 3, I guess it's 3 to you. Here, let me give you another example so you guys can understand where this channel, this SMD family is coming from. All right, let me pull this up because I wrote this out on my Facebook today. Where'd I put that? One second here. Okay, check this out. I want you to count. Now, this is an exercise. I want you to count to 1 million, but before you start, you must first guess the number I want you to start from. Okay, I'm gonna say that one more time. I want you to count to 1 million, but before you start, you must first guess the number I want you to start from. Now you're probably thinking that's impossible, right? How am I going to guess the number in your head, Linnell? Right? Now, with that in mind, if you don't know how much debt you're in, you'll never be able to count to 1 million. That's the law of mathematics. So when you go back and read an article like this, and you're excited if they knock off $10,000 of your student loan debt, the reason why you're excited is because you are in debt. That's why you're excited. That's why you care about the HEROES Act. That's why you care about student loan interest being paused, student loan payments being paused. They can't come chase after you for the money, all that being paused all the way till next year. If you're excited about that, it's because you're in debt. That's why the HEROES Act, if you're excited about it, that's why you're excited about it, because you're in debt. And where did I put my thing? Okay, there we go. Sorry, you guys. 1 second here. I got to find out where I put mine. Oh, here we go. Let's see here. See if you guys been asking some questions here. All right. Say what's up, Ill Wills. Jared, what's up? Tony, Nicer, hello. Gabriel, Josh 2003. Fresh Nights 1979 said I just paid off my student loan. Congratulations. Congratulations. You guys got any questions on this article of how I read it or how you translate it? Maybe you look at it a different, like you see me reading it, but you like, wow, I never looked at it that way. Something like that, you know? First 19 said, I could have waited for the hero act. See what I'm saying? See how you said that? I could have waited. That's what they want people in debt to think with student loans. Hey, man, hey, never mind. People like, for example, say like there was somebody about to pay off their student loans, right? They're going to stop thinking that $10,000 knockoff is going to come first. So they're going to stop. And then while they're stopping, waiting for Congress or legislation, whoever get to if it's going to pass, because remember, they're not promising anything. This is just something that they threw out there. Now, these articles could be just that. You know, you could promise people in debt something and they'll cross their fingers in hopes. But if they start to believe it in their mind that it's going to happen, they will convince themselves to stop paying on student loans or figure they don't have to pay it back if they knock off $10,000 or whatever, right? That's exactly what they want them to do. And then when they say, oh, crap, it didn't pass, especially the student loan portion, that's never going to pass. Then that's not going to pass. I'll tell you, that part is. That part's not going to pass. But anyway, people start to do it in hopes. And then when it doesn't happen, they're like, oh, well, I would be paying on it anyway. Queen of the South, what's going on? I could have saved 15,000. You sure? Okay. But that reaction, I want you to understand something too, Fresh. That reaction is normal for people in debt. They're going to wait. If they hear that information, that's not even promised. None of that information is promised. None of it. Thank you, Ill Wills. Break it down for the masses. I'm trying to do it my best, and I'm trying to do it in a simple way so people can understand articles like this. You know, and this is nothing negative to the article itself. They're just the article, the writer, whoever wrote the article. I'm not saying they're bad, good, mean, evil, nothing. It's just they're just writing from some information that they they got, right? Whatever that is, I guess what was in the article, right? But I'm reading to you what it really means when you're outside of the debt matrix, right? Because when you're outside the debt matrix, that article means absolutely nothing. If it passes, it doesn't pass, who cares if they get together? I don't even care if they're fighting over each other. Who cares? It doesn't matter if they're fighting over it. So what? Just like you said, prolong their debt. That's all it's doing. But debt is the economy. That's how it works. Pedro says many will waste that money on other things instead. Exactly, Pedro. And that's exactly what they want them to do, because what does it do? Instead of them paying their bills and they spend it on other stuff, what does that do? Stimulate the economy. The economy runs on debt. Okay, the economy runs on debt. People need to understand that. Jaws 2003 says, I would love, a lot would. The devil is in the details, though. Yeah. Yeah. Pay yours off, 0 interest. This is the time to do it. Exactly the time to do it. Pedro says, they know it will boost the economy big time. That's how it works. Get out of debt and you'll be all for it. On this, you got to remember, once you're on this side, north side of zero, those people that are in debt, they're choosing to be there because they don't trust mathematics. That's why they're choosing. So that helps you. This will help you remove your feelings out. When you see family and friends and loved ones digging themselves deeper and deeper in the hole, you got to remember they're choosing to do that. They're choosing to do that because they don't trust mathematics. So that's how to bring your feelings out of it. Okay. People going deeper in debt. That's the way it needs to be. Willie Garcia says the only one that can cancel your debt is you. Correct. Thank you, Kiera. Kevin says, Kevin, I can't pronounce that first name for nothing. I'm gonna just call you Kevin. Linnell, something worth considering. If all these stimulus packages do pass, there's the possibility over time of our debt eclipses our GDP. That's when things will get even more wonky. Well, I think things like that really don't matter. I don't look at, put it this way, Kevin, I don't look at economy pages, the Dow, the Wall Street Journal, the GDP and all this stuff. You know what I look at? I look at people. The only thing I say is, what would the majority do? And this is how I think. The majority of people are in debt, so they're going to do whatever they're told according to the money. That's what they're going to do because they believe they have no choice. And the reason why they believe that is because they're in debt. So I don't even look at all that stuff. I say, what are the masses going to do? All right. For example, there's an imminent housing market crash coming. Okay. I keep repeating this, right? And this is why I'm saying it. It's just because of what I see. It's not a prediction or anything. It's not saying, hey, I cross my fingers and I can predict it coming. No, I just say millions of people out of work with no jobs to even go back to. Millions have no jobs. There's no jobs even available for people to go back to work to pay the mortgages that they have. So since they don't have, they're out of work with no jobs to go to, making less pay, they're not going to be able to pay those mortgages. Now, this applies for businesses too. I just use housing because it's just more prominent in people's faces, but nothing's going to stop that housing market crash. I mean, I don't see anything coming in happening. People are in debt. So this is why if they extend that a year to not pay your student loans, people are not going. They're going to take a year not paying anything on the student loans, taking advantage of paying it off the fastest when there's no interest applied right now. Even the people that have the money to pay off their student loan debt, even the people that have it, right? For example, let me give you guys an example. Say like people in debt don't even know this, all right? They stopped interest on student loan debt, all right? No interest is accruing. They stopped the 10% penalty for pulling money out of your retirement right now. So what people don't understand, they could go pull out $50,000 out of, say like they had a $50,000 student loan and they had $75,000 or no, you can't go up to 100. I'm gonna say, just say they had 100 and they want to pull out $50,000 out of their 401k to pay off their student loan. That's exactly what they should do right now, this minute. People say, well, what about the taxes that are going to accrue by pulling out that much money? It's nothing compared to the amount of interest you're going to save. Because don't worry, if you're thinking about this, and if somebody says, hey, man, what about those taxes? This is what I want you to think to yourself. As soon as somebody tells you that, the amount of taxes that you're going to pay is never going to amount to the interest you've paid over 20 years of having that student loan. Always remember that. If you go pull out that money and somebody stops you and say, hey, man, the taxes, say to yourself, I wonder how much in interest I've paid over 20 years for that student loan for having it. I went to college for 4 years, but I kept the student loan for 20. I wonder how much interest I've paid over that. You think it's going to come close to the taxes you're about to pay for pulling that money out? Hell no, not even close. Do it. Tell somebody in debt that. They won't even hear you. Oh, nah, man, I'm going to wait for this HEROES Act, man. It's going to knock off $10,000. That's what you think. Nick Johnson says, I know a girl that used her stimulus money plus all the money she got from 3 of her baby daddies and the $500 she got for each kid and bought a new Dodge Charger. What did I just say? Stimulate the economy. Do you believe, you see how many people are happy over $1,200? Now I want you to follow me. You see how happy people were over $1,200. You think they were happy to pay all their debt with that $1,200? Hell no. They ain't got a job. You think they're going to take $1,200 to pay off their debt? Hell no. What about make a car payment and ain't got no job? Hell no. But they go buy some TVs or go buy a new car. That's what they'll do. And if that's you, that's why you're happy to see the HEROES Act. That's exactly the reason why you're happy to see the HEROES Act. Willie Garcia says math adds up, but only when you apply discipline and principles to it. It always adds up, for sure. Math is never wrong, ever. NC Biggs says negative 21 is where I start. Exactly, NC Biggs. Now you look at that number, NC Biggs, you probably, this is what's going to help you, NC Biggs. I want you to always think when you get on the north side of zero, your perspective of how you look at money will be totally different, okay? You look at negative 21,000, you be like, damn. There's millions of people that don't even know their number, NC Biggs. But you do. You know, not only do you know your number's low. You're closer to zero. There's millions of people out there that don't even know their number. They don't even know where to start to count to 1 million. And that's the law of mathematics. That's the law. You're probably thinking, what's the law? I'll give you a couple of laws. Math law says 2 plus 2 equals 4. It doesn't care how anybody feels about it. Math doesn't care what language you say it in. Math doesn't care what color you are. Math doesn't care if you live in a good neighborhood, a bad neighborhood, a wealthy neighborhood, overseas, in Italy, Australia. Math doesn't care. Math could care less because all math sees is green and numbers. Willie Garcia says start from nothing. Naima says 100,000. Thank you, Nicer. Hit that like button, subscribe. Appreciate you. What's up, Naima? Long time no see. Vanished. I saw you out there. I know you be browsing the different channels. I see you. Welcome back. I know. I haven't seen you in a minute. It's a different time for everybody. Straight up. Different time for everybody right now. I don't expect anybody to be the same during these times. Believe that. Don't be fooled on social media. I'll tell you that right now. Don't be fooled. Gabriel says, I want to know the minds of people in debt. What do you mean you want to know the minds? All you got to do is walk outside. Just get up, leave the house, Gabriel, and go walk outside. Go to the store. Go to Costco. Just go to, I know Florida's, just go down there. Look all the new cars. I want you to guys check this out. We're in the middle of a pandemic. And then when you get out on the street, when cities start opening back up, I want you to count how many paper plates you see out there. Brand new cars with paper plates in them. Those people are financing cars in a pandemic. Millions of people out of work, millions. And they're financing new cars. Who do you think does that? People in debt. Only people in debt finance cars because you ain't got no money. That's why you finance cars. Jaws 2003 says, even if they eliminate $10,000, what about the interest? No, interest goes nowhere. The interest they make would make the government rich as well, especially if you have to go in default. Yeah, that's a dream that will never happen. Once you're out of debt, check this out so you guys can understand, especially if you're in student loan debt. Let me explain something to you so you can really understand what this is, because I was in student loan debt for 10 years. I didn't see this until I paid it off, okay? If I was still in debt, that article that I read today would appeal to me, right? But what you don't understand is this: when you're in student loan debt, you're a slave because you have to pay back. And the only way you're going to get out of it, you have to pay back every penny. And in order to pay back every penny, you got to use the time in your life. That's the only way you can pay back a student loan. You have to use the time in your life to pay that back, to earn the money, 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, blah, 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 and earn minus taxes as you do it, and minus everything else that you're financing to pay that student loan back, right? You have to use the time in your life. As long as you don't, put it this way, as long as you don't pay that student loan debt off, you can never, it's mathematically, now listen to me closely when I say this, it will be mathematically impossible for you to ever own the time in your life as long as you have student loan debt. For the last 5 years, I've owned every single minute of the time in my life. If you have student loans and you believe you'll never pay them off, it will be mathematically impossible for you to experience the feeling that I'm trying to express to you today. Impossible. You'll never be able to read articles for what they are the way I just read it to you today. You'll never be able to understand that. Why are they doing that? Because you're in debt. It's math. It's this article. If you want to see what this article really says, you have to trust mathematics. If you don't trust mathematics, you'll never be able to read what that article says or articles like it. All of the articles are the same. The ones that you see on the internet, they're all saying the same thing. They're not saying anything different. They're just saying it in different ways. That's it. By different people with different credentials, with different titles by their names from this university and that universe. They're not saying anything different. They're saying everything exactly the same. Hell, the people that are writing the articles, they might be in debt. Just because they're from a certain university and have these kind of credentials, you need to know if they're in debt or not. Because if they're in debt, they only can give it to you from a debt perspective. I want you guys to clearly understand something. The type of financial advice you get from a person can only be from their perspective. And if they're in debt, they only can give it to you from the debt perspective. Mark says, just because they said no to interest until 2021, won't they still owe more than a year's worth of payments? I have no idea what they put in the fine print of that article, that thing. They know nobody's reading that. That's probably true, Mark. I don't know. They can throw so much stuff in that. It's like, people don't understand. It's like when you go get a mortgage, right? And they got this thick stack of paperwork in front of you. And they're asking you to sign here, initial here, sign here. You have no idea what's in that thick stack of paperwork, but you want that imaginary house so bad that you're going to sign whatever's. And since it's the bank's money, they can put anything they want in that paperwork. Doesn't that scare somebody? That don't even scare people. It don't even scare people. And let me, let me say this to you. If this article, this HEROES Act, if you're waiting on this HEROES Act, right? And you hope it passes, but at the same time you're looking for a house, let me tell you something. If you got good credit, good job, and 20-year-old student loans, you are a prime candidate to be approved for a 30-year house. You know why? Because if you haven't paid off your student loans in 20 years, you think you're going to pay off, you think you're going to mathematically, put it this way. It's mathematically impossible for you to pay off a house in 30. And the reason why you're a prime candidate, if you don't mathematically know that, that's money in the bank's pocket. They're not there to explain this to you. They're not there to explain this to you. Let me break this down just a little simple so you can see, so you can understand what I'm saying. All right. If you have a good job, say like that, we're going to keep all the numbers simple so you can understand something. We're going to keep everything simple. Say like a house brand new was $100,000 and you saved up $20,000 as a down payment. Let's say 20% of 100, there's 20,000. You're going to get the best mortgage in the world, the best top rate conventional mortgage. You got 20% to put down, but you have $50,000 in student loan debt. Okay. Now you go up to the bank and say, hey, look, bank, my good credit, I got a good job. I got all this money and I got $20,000 cash. And then the bank is going to look at your credit report and then they're going to see the $50,000 student loan debt you got there, right? Now, the bank trusts mathematics. At that moment, the bank knows 20,000 minus 50,000 is negative 30,000. The bank knows that $20,000 is not even there. Why? Because math says you're negative $30,000. It's not even there. But if you believe you have $20,000 and you also believe you're a homeowner spread across 30 years, you better believe you are a prime candidate. Prime. Do you think the bank's going to sit you down and say, hey, Mr. John, you do know 20,000 minus 50,000 is negative 30,000. You know that $20,000 that you have in your hand, it's really not even there. You do that according to mathematics. You think they're going to sit down and explain that to you? We learned this in grade school. Hell yeah. You think you're a homeowner spread over 30 years with money that's not that you think you're a homeowner spread over 30 years with money that doesn't even exist? Hell yeah, you are approved. You know why? Because you'll never own that house. And you got a person walking around calling themselves homeowners, calling themselves a homeowner and not even a homeowner. That kind of shit right there blows my mind. That's you guys got to understand. The banks put that's like generations in the making. Okay, that's serious programming. That's serious programming. Man, that's just crazy to think about sometimes, man. People don't even realize the best investment is a house, owning a house, nothing outside of a house. No stock portfolio, just own a house. You're probably thinking, how do you know that, Linnell? There's trillions of dollars in student loan debt. There's millions of people that just simply believe they are homeowners. If you become one, you're financially ahead of millions of people. The millions that just believe they're homeowners. Enough said. Nah, LJ, the blue collar man can't get ahead. Yeah, okay. Kira says, did you hear about Victoria's Secret and Bath and Body Works? Or are they filing bankruptcy or something like that? Pedro says, imagine 1 million people paying their taxes late. That can turn into 50 million profit in 1 year. Yes. And that, you know what? Put it this way, Pedro. All that extra money that people get on unemployment, they got to pay taxes on that. How many of those people you think checked the box, hey, I'll pay the taxes later? How many you think did that? You know, and then how many of those people are going to lie on their taxes, pretend they didn't get it or something stupid, whatever, not realizing everything's tied to the Social Security number. They're not getting away with anything. It's just a matter of time. And then penalties, fees, taxes, they're not going to have the money. Millions of people out of work. They're not going to even have the money they don't even have the money to, put it this way. People in debt don't even know they don't have any money. They don't even know they're in debt. They're in a negative. They don't even know, right? Now you add taxes, penalties, and fees on top of the negative debt they're already in, they're never going to get out. So when you see these $2-3 trillion packages, that's nothing compared to what they're going to get back in taxes, fees, and penalties. Nothing. People in debt are not even paying off the debt with the money that they give them. You think that they're not paying their bills with the $1,200. They're spending it. They're putting it right back into the economy because that's what people in debt do. You got to stop looking at when you hear $3 trillion, you got to stop thinking that's not a lot of money. That's not a lot of money. That's not. It just sounds like a lot of money because it has a lot of zeros. That means nothing. It's just a name. Stimulating the economy for the recovery of pandemic. Jose says, hey, Gabriel, I'm in debt. I am in debt, have a house payment, and me and my wife still living the life and 1,400 months surviving. I'm not sure what that means. Oh, okay, he's talking to. It Will says, new Dodge Charger, Hellcat, 700 horsepower, pretty fast to get away from debt. It will be chasing her. Yep, chasing her for a long time. For a long time. Jose says, and we in California, taxes laws are still living the life. And when people talk about different states' tax laws, don't even worry about. There's always different ways. You just got to get out of debt. You can't taxes. No matter where once you get out of debt, taxes can help you build wealth. But when you're in debt, they can't. Okay. Once you get out of debt, you won't care about the taxes in any state or city you live in. You won't care. You'll just go, okay. So like I moved to California. The first thing I would say is, okay, I'm gonna live in this county. All right. Hey, county, state, what are you giving tax breaks on for living here? Okay. If I invest in the streets, or if I invest in the oil or whatever, they always got some tax incentives in every city, right? You look for those and say, how much do I got to put in? Okay, if I put in $10,000, you're going to give me $10,000 off my taxes of this, that. Hell yeah, that's what I'll take. As long as I'm paying less tax than the majority of people in California, that's money in my pocket. And remember, people in debt cannot take advantage of tax incentives because they are in debt. You must have money. You must live north of zero to be able to take advantage of tax incentives. If people in debt understood that if they maxed out their 401k of $19,500, not only would they put $19,500 in their retirement, they also get to take $19,500 off of their annual income every single year they do it. You know why they don't do that? Because they're in debt. The majority of people cannot barely even afford their car payment, $500 in their account, let alone $19,500 into a retirement plan. Gabriel says, I already see it on They Be Driving Finance Cars. Queen of the South says, I just saw 3 new cars in the parking lot, 2 convertible Mustangs and Camaro. And you know why? This is what they're doing, Queen. People in debt don't really understand why they're giving out such great deals for cars right now. 0%, 84 months financing, 6 months deferred payments. Why do you think they're doing that? Because next year they won't be able to get rid of any of those cars that they have in their lots. None of them. They're trying to give out these deals on these car lots because their inventory is about to be worthless come 2021. It's about to be totally garbage for what they paid for it. So they got to hurry up and get off of them. Now you're thinking, Linda, how do you know that? Okay, I'll tell you again. Millions of people out of work. Millions of people, millions of jobs. Okay, put it this way. Millions of jobs are gone equals millions of people out of work. millions of people out of work that can't even get jobs to even pay their mortgage, their car payments, all their payments. So guess what? Everything stops. So right now, before people in debt realize what's really happening, they're selling them their inventory. Hey, we're getting off this. They're getting off that inventory because, hey, now it's yours. You know how many next year? There's going to be millions of repos, millions. That's a lot of cars. That's a lot of cars. Gabriel says, LJ, how long you went without doing nothing? What do you mean by doing nothing? What does that mean? Kiera says, the people who are writing the articles most likely are in debt. I agree with that. A lot of these websites are charging now to read. A lot of these websites are charging now to read their articles. What do you mean by that, Kiera? What are they doing? Naima says, I see you're still dropping those financial gems. Hey, I appreciate that. Yeah, that's why I keep saying I got to get approved. I already sent it to be approved, but I'm gonna do a private group where I just talk. It's going to be basically called the life north of zero. Well, where I don't really explain many things. People that will join this group, they will come here knowing that they trust in mathematics, right? All right, now I know math and money go together. What's next? It's that type of group. The free side is to convince people, to get them out of debt using math, to say, hey, people trust math, you'll win. These are these free videos, right? Hey, believe in mathematics. You know what I'm saying? Oh, see this? This is why because the math is not true. The private group, the paid group, is for people that already trust math. They know it goes together and nothing breaks it except feelings when you involve your feelings. Sharif says, you're not a homeowner. You're working for the bank doing maintenance. Yeah, you're a loan owner. Queen of South says, student loan debt will always exist. Yes, it will. It's never going away. Student loan debt is student loan debt is only second to IRS debt. Okay. And the reason why it's only second to IRS debt, because IRS debt can put you in prison, right? Student loan debt can't. Some locations are closing. Kira says some locations are closing. Victoria's Secret, Bath and Body. You know what? And when we hear that kind of stuff, those are big businesses. Now, a bankruptcy for businesses of that size, it could be a good thing. It could be maybe they're restructuring, and you got to remember they're multi-million-dollar companies for a reason. You got to remember they know how to use the system. People when they hear bankruptcy, they always think bankruptcy means it's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. So when you hear Gold's Gym is filing bankruptcy, Bath and Body Works, Victoria's Secret, that doesn't necessarily mean bad. That gives them a chance to restructure, because you got to remember everything changes. All right. So you got to remember when Victoria's Secret started, Bath and Body Works, they started in a particular era where it worked, right? It worked in this time frame of time. Now that technology's faster and things change, there's apps. Now this is their time to restructure. So it might not necessarily mean they're out of business. This is their chance to do it. That's all. So don't look at it like, oh my God, I can't believe they're filing bankruptcy, because like when I tell clients, hey man, I see their whole debt structure and I say, your best bet is to file Chapter 7 bankruptcy. They're like, what? But then when I explain to them mathematically, you get to start at zero, then they understand. Thank you, L. Wills. Cosmic says, Gabriel, you're too young to do nothing. I shared a low-cost business idea in the past weekend's voice. Oh, okay, gotcha. Oh, nothing. Okay, Gabriel, you got to remember when you say nothing, right? When you tell people that, they think nothing means that you're just sitting at home, video games every day. You're not doing anything. If you want to do nothing, you got to earn to do nothing, right? So nothing. You're young, right? For me, when I did nothing, because I worked most of my adult life. So when I first got debt free, I did nothing. You're right. I did absolutely nothing. I did nothing for like a year. I did nothing. I mean, I still worked out. And when I say nothing, I take that back. I did whatever I wanted to do. Right. So if it was to wake up and sleep, I just slept all day. Right. Or I just walked around the house or whatever. Right. Because I could do it. Right. But I worked all my life. So I never knew what it was like to stay at home for a year and do absolutely nothing. I never knew what that was like. So I had to break through of believing that I had to do something. Because when I first stopped working, people were always asking me, "Hey, El, what are you doing?" I was like, "Nothing." They just couldn't comprehend that. What do you mean nothing? I said, "I'm not doing anything." But believe it or not, Gabriel, you're going to get tired of doing nothing. Okay, believe me, doing nothing gets tiring too. And also, believe it or not, being able to do whatever you want to do when you wake up every day, that kind of that I'm not gonna say it get boring, but it gets repetitive, right? And then and I'm just talking about me. So this turned into something else. This right here, helping others, this is my something. I live for this. I live for helping people get out of the debt matrix. So this is my something. But if you ask somebody, "Hey, Lynette, what do? You just talk on a mic all the time and just talk to people," they might think that's nothing. So be very careful what your definition of nothing is. Okay, think about it. Kiara says there was a sports article I wanted to read, and it had a fee I had to pay for it. Oh, in order to read it. Oh, hell no, I ain't doing none of that. Mm-mm. Yeah, hard truths, but they wake up people, Naima. They do. Jaws 2003 says those car dealerships want to clear out their inventory and make space for the new cars. It's going to be buyer's market next year, and they know it. I want to upgrade my car next year and pay cash. I guarantee you these car lots, they cut down on the inventory because you got to remember all those cars are going to be coming back. Those, like the lease vehicles, not the bank owned cars, but the lease vehicles, they're going to be coming back to the dealerships, and they're going to have all this inventory. And you better believe the banks are going to be, during an economic crash, they're going to be tightening up on the restrictions. So they probably get, the likelihood of people getting new car loans is higher than used car loans because the bank is going to be tightening up on the restrictions because people ain't got no money and not going to give out money for used cars, but new cars. Yeah. Thank you, Cosmic, for joining. Appreciate you always. Pedro, just a second here. Whoops. Pedro says these companies that are closing were already doing bad. Again, they could simply be restructuring. So try not to think bankruptcy is not a bad thing. Okay. Put it this way, chapter 13 bankruptcy, that's a bad thing. Chapter 13 bankruptcy is a bad thing. Chapter 7 bankruptcy is a good thing. Okay. Queen of South says the man living in the White House understands bankruptcy. Yeah, it works. It's there. I don't know why people think people are trained to believe it's bad. The man living in the White House understands filing for bankruptcy. He does it repeatedly. See what I'm saying? It's a tool. Bankruptcy is not good. It's not bad. It's just a tool. No, bankruptcy is no different than credit. Credit's a simple. It's just a tool. Nice says LJ, with his channel and personal consultation ain't nothing. It's work just as Hyphy and Cosmic that both hosted one live. It's just as, I love doing this for people. I love it. Cosmic says, oh yeah, LJ puts in work, folks. A lot of effort is required to do these streams, and I appreciate you, LJ, for it. I appreciate you. I appreciate you jumping on and doing that, you and Hyphy. Charles 2003 says, LJ, what can you keep during a chapter 7? Car, a home, pay, like a car or a home that's paid off, and what things you can easily get rid of. I know you speak highly of chapter 7. My dad used to talk about chapter 13 a lot. Okay, so put it this way. All right. The likelihood of you filing chapter 7 with a paid off house is highly unlikely. Okay. So when you put those things together, like a paid off car, like if you were going to file a chapter 7 you're really not gonna, and you have a paid off car, it's probably not gonna be a nice car, right? I can't see you filing, put it this way, Jaws 2003. I can't see you filing Chapter 7 with a paid off house and a really nice paid off car. Those things don't go together. Okay, they just don't mathematically go together. Chapter 13, put it this way so you guys can understand what chapter 13, what it really means, in my opinion. Okay. Chapter 13 is a service for people that refuse to accept that they're in debt and they cannot manage their money, right? But they still want to keep their stuff, even though their stuff is the very reason why they're in chapter 13. So chapter 13 is designed for people to keep stuff that they don't own. See what I'm saying? So, hey, I heard chapter 13 allows you to keep your house and your car and this and that. Well, yeah, because you keep making payments on it. But when you're in this box of chapter 13, bill collectors can't bother you anymore. So you got to remember, people in debt, that's all they want to hear. Oh man, so I just get in this box and then bill collectors can't bother me anymore. Yeah, they can't bother you anymore, right? But the majority of people in debt, you know what they do when they get chapter 13? They start looking for more credit. Now that they have one single payment, people in debt, and they get to keep all their stuff with one single payment, they believe they have more money. And then guess what they do? They go out and start financing stuff again. They just repeatedly do it all over. And then guess what? Then they get kicked out of chapter 13 because they can't, and then they can pay. Have you ever noticed that you can keep filing chapter 13 over and over and over again as many times as you wish, but you can't do that? You can't do that with chapter 7. You ever notice that? Why is that? Because chapter 7 frees you. If you accept that the house you live in is not yours, the car you drive is not yours, if you accept that, chapter 7 will free you. But then here's another thing that people in debt say, oh man, but chapter 7 doesn't get rid of student loan debt. No, it doesn't. So it's like, why are you saying that? You know why you're saying that? Because you don't believe you can pay off the student loan debt, but not realizing if you get a chapter 7 and get rid of everything but the student loan debt, all your paychecks can now go to one thing: your student loan debt. You know how fast that can be paid off? But people are too focused in on their stuff, so that's why they use chapter 13. And chapter 13 is a business, a very profitable business. You give people in debt the illusion of keeping stuff that they don't own. It is just the most magnificent piece of machinery, artwork, design that I've ever seen in my life. Giving the illusion of keeping something that you don't even own. So now, on the outside, since people in debt believe bankruptcy is a bad thing, on the outside of chapter 13, to all their friends that are in pretty much the same predicament they are, they just don't know it. On the outside, it looks like nothing happened. Even though they filed chapter 13, they get to keep all their stuff. But on the outside, to all their other friends that are in credit and debt trouble, to them, they won't know because they still have all their stuff. Voila, the illusion. Oh, the Heroes Act. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. That's going to save me. No, it's not. And again, if you don't trust math, you will never understand what I'm saying to you. If you don't trust math, you might as well not even join the paid group. You might as well not even join it. You'll never understand a word I'm saying in that group if you don't trust in mathematics. Anybody have any questions? Any questions? If you're new to the channel, don't be shy. Pour me some more water here. If you're new to the channel, don't be shy, please. Will S says also, when you do officially own it, it will have very little value. It'll have very little value if you financed it and finally own it. It will have very little value. Yes, that is for a fact. But when you have money, you buy things under value. So let me give you an example so you can understand. Now, people believe that a car goes down in value. That is true. Cars do go down in value. That's true. That statement right there, hey, cars go down in value. Yes, they do. The answer is yes. But they go down in value different. It counts on who the person you're talking to. That's who. A car only goes down in value according to you. Okay? A car going down in value for you is different than a car going down in value for me. Okay. So say, like, let's go, for example, and I'm going to just use round numbers so you guys can understand. So if you walk on a car lot and finance a $10,000 car spread across 6 years, 7 years, let's say 84 months, 7 years, right? You finance a $10,000 car spread across 84 months, whatever, right? Little to no down payment. So right off the bat, you already know you're going to be paying more than $10,000 for that car. You already know that, right? Because you're going to finance it for 72 months at an interest rate. And what people who finance cars, they don't understand this either. If you don't have the money for the car, you don't have the money for the taxes. So not only are you financing the price of the car, you're financing the price of the taxes that go with it. You're financing them, right? Now you spread it across, and you add all this other stuff that they add in on the car lot, upside down insurance and all this other stuff. And then people believe, as soon as you drive off the lot, it goes down in value. No, it goes down in value the minute you finance the car on the lot. Driving off the lot is the last point to where it goes down in value and keeps going down in value. Okay. All the other stuff goes down in value before you drive. And then just the last time you boop, boop, off the curb, that's when it starts going down in value and never stops. Right? Now, for a person with cash, if I wanted that $10,000 car, first of all, I wouldn't step on a car lot to buy it. That's number one right there. I wouldn't even go. I'm going to go especially right now, I can get that $10,000 car for $7,000 from somebody in credit trouble with cash. So not only am I getting a car under Blue Book, $3,000 less than you got it at the $10,000 sticker price, which you thought you were getting that, but I got it for $7,000. So I pay taxes on $7,000. So not only do I pay less on the car, I pay less in taxes on the car, right? So now that I bought it under Blue Book, I drive it for a few years, same as you drive it for a few years. And then say like 3, 4, 5 years, I'm done with it. I sell it at its Blue Book value there. That means I drove the car for free. It counts on how many miles I drove it and all that stuff. But that means I drove the car for damn near free. Because when you're driving and financing, not only is the car going down in value, the car is going up in value, costing you more and more money. The cost of the car is going up and down in value at the same time. You're going up in value due to interest and going down in value because you're actually using it at the same time. Up in value and down in value at the same time. The price of the car keeps going up every year as you drive it, and it's going down in value at the same time as you drive it. Only people who finance cars don't know that. See how that works? Your value, when you're financially free, your value of something is very different from the value of anybody else's. This is what I'm going to teach. I want people to be successful in this money game. It's not even hard. Especially the younger folks that get this knowledge, man, you guys don't even get it. You're going to kill it in this game. The finance game, and it's just math. You'll be able to read these articles just like I do. You'll clearly see that they don't apply to you, and you'll clearly see that they only apply to the majority. That's who they're talking to. It doesn't even matter the website where it's on. It's all the same information. It can only come from one source, the banks. They can't tell you something without the banks telling them first. That's why I don't even listen to them. I don't know whoever's writing that article. I don't know if they're coming from a debt perspective or a debt-free perspective, or they're just doing a job. Hell, they could be debt-free and simply doing a job and just relaying information. Nothing's wrong with it. If it doesn't make mathematical sense, it doesn't make financial sense either. So it really, you know, you guys have any questions? Any questions? You younger people, man, I'm telling you in a way I wish somebody would have told me, especially when I was in my 30s, man, because you're at that age that you're getting caught up in. You think you're supposed to have a specific career, and you think you're supposed to have a house, and you're supposed to be married, and you're supposed to have 2.5 kids, and it's all this stupid nonsense. I'm gonna tell you guys something. That's none of that's true. None of that's true. If you're in your 30s, you're not asking the right questions. When you get in your 30s, you need to be asking your friends, "Hey, man, you guys still got your student loans?" "Hey, me, I do too." Yeah, that's why you're part of that group. You guys have something in common, debt. "Hey, you got a mortgage?" "Yeah, me too." "I know. That's why you guys are together, because you guys all got mortgages." You don't have to go that route. Just because your parents carry student loan debt this long, just because your parents' student loan debt is older than you don't have to do the same. I hope you understand that. You don't have to do the same. You don't have to do what they're doing. You don't have to die with student loan debt. And even though I read these articles the way I'm reading to you guys, I'm not against the system, how they do things. I want you guys to clearly understand that the system is not doing anything to anyone. So when they put up articles like that, "Hey, come over here, we'll give you money, we'll take off $10,000, we'll name it a nice Heroes Act and all this other stuff, caring and this and that, care, heroes." If you believe in all that, I guess you just believe in all that. But I'm trying to save you from that. They're doing what they need to do to direct the majority to keep the economy, the economy that the majority can't see. That must happen so it can keep going. And if you never forget, time is the most valuable thing on earth. Time. You can't get more of it. You can't share it. You can't you can't borrow for some from your cousin. It's time. The more you own, the wealthy you are. Wealthy is not money, it's time. If you learn this in your 20s and 30s, the rest of your whole, I promise you, your entire life is going to change. This is generational, what I teach, generational. This is not just for you, because once you discover this type of freedom, you're going to naturally share it with those others, hopefully in your family that are listening. But I want you to understand something. This has nothing to do with families, black, white. It does, none of that matters. All that matters is green. Herbert Walker says, "LJ, I'm 57 years old and I don't look back at my financial mistakes. I'm just moving forward." Exactly. You don't look back at them. Once you're financially free, they come up. Don't get me wrong. They come up because you're going to reflect. Reflecting is just a natural part of the process. It just happens. But once you get past that, you just don't think, you just kind of giggle about it. It's more of a giggle, you know? NC Big says, I have a question. I'm still struggling with keeping my mouth closed because people keep talking to me about investing. It's annoying. How do I deal with that? You know what, NC Big? That's a good question. That's a very good question. How would I deal if I was in a work environment? How would I deal with that today? I'd walk away from the conversation. I'd walk away from the conversation because unless they specifically ask you, or if they specifically ask you, why are you walking away every time a financial conversation come up, then you could turn around and tell them, well, I wouldn't do that because of this. You know, that's how you deal with people like that. You got to remember, NC Biggs, that's the majority of people are in debt. The majority are. So you're gonna have to learn how to deal with that in order to fit in with people that are in debt. You're gonna have to learn how to do that. That's gonna be the tough part, because you're gonna hear them speak as if, you know, they got a great deal on the car. They get a brand new iPhone every year because that's how they do it. They got a bigger house. You see them get a promotion, and then they'll get a bigger house, a nicer car, but can't figure out why they're still living a paycheck to paycheck. You just gotta listen until they specifically ask you. If they specifically ask you, they're looking for your response. Okay. Queen of South says, exactly, Herbert Walker. You cannot change the past. Can't change the past. Nope. Strongly suggest watching the movie In Time with Justin Timberlake. Eye-opening. That's the one where he has that program thing on his arm, I think, right? That is a good movie. That is a good movie, because especially when you get debt free and you go back and watch movies like The Matrix and In Time with Justin Timberlake, and when you see that they got the time thing on your arm, because I promise you, if that thing was real on your arm, you wouldn't waste the time in your life on people or things, or like if this thing was on your arm, right, and then you went down to sit down and you went to the bank to sit down and sign a 30-year mortgage, and you saw that time on your arm, you'd be like, damn, so if I buy this house and I'm here for 30 years, I won't have time to do X, Y, Z, this and that and that and this, right? You would change quickly if you could see it. But since you can't see it, the crazy thing is about this: you can't see it, but you know it. You know that everybody runs out of time. You know you're going to be dead one day. You know that, right? So you know there's literally a clock ticking. You know that. But people still don't believe it by being in debt. No, I haven't watched that yet. NC Biggs. Well, we're gonna wrap it up, man. This was just a short one. I wanted to read that article to you guys, and I appreciate you all. Thanks, NC Biggs, for throwing that article my way. I appreciate it. And if you got any questions, if you're new to the channel, please leave your comments under the video. I appreciate it, and I will put the link to the video in the description. Okay, promise. All right. Herbert says, LJ, know that I have freedom. I focus on my physical and mental health by walking 10,000 steps daily. I'm planning my second life. I'm nervous but excited. Me too. I'm still planning mine too, Herbert. Just because I'm doing what I'm doing doesn't mean I'm ahead of you in any way. I want you to understand that it's not, when you get on the north side of zero, it's not really levels. It's experiences, right? So then we share each other's experiences. Look at it as like a big piece of the puzzle, right? You have an experience, I have one, and so we're both debt free. We can come together and say, hey, did you know this? I know that. And then you get with Cosmic and I get with Cosmic and I get with Hyphen, then it just all comes together like a jigsaw puzzle, right? That's how it works. So again, I appreciate you guys all to jumping in today to the channel. Thank you very much. And here, before I leave, put that there. Here's my Cash App if you like the show. Appreciate the donations. Cash App is safe for those of you guys listening in the car. I keep forgetting. Sorry, I'm reading out. My Cash App is SavingsMinusDebt. SavingsMinusDebt. Okay. My Gmail is SavingsMinusDebt@gmail.com. That's my email. You need help? You need my services? SavingsMinusDebt.com. Okay. Appreciate it. Follow me on Instagram at SavingsMinusDebt. Follow me on YouTube at SavingsMinusDebt. Everything's the same name. Okay. Health is wealth for sure. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. Until next time. All right. See ya.